boobies. You think that got their attention, ladies?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Patriots 3, Life, Liberty, Pursuit of Happiness. Here's your host, Tim, Tanya, and our special guest, Tali. How you two doing tonight?
Great, thank you.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah,
the three T's are here. I love it.
That's right.
So, yeah, tonight we are definitely going to be talking about boobs. All right, we're going to be talking about the cost of vanity. We're going to be talking about both women and men's health. So, men, definitely tune in and watch all of this. It's not just all about the boobs. There's other stuff too. We're going to be talking about Tali's story, and definitely to give a shout out to Tali. I want to go ahead and actually, before I do that, I want to give a little disclosure. We're not here to give medical advice. This is for entertainment or educational purposes only.
Right,
just to make sure we cover our ears. We're doing good on that department. And I want to give a shout out to Tali with LearnU. So that's LearnU.live. So as a www.learnu.live, I'll drop the link. That's actually going to be live and up and running tomorrow. So
awesome.
Yes,
we will definitely be doing that. Wow, there's just so many things when it comes, hearing about breast cancer and all this. And, tonight we're going to be talking about, implants.
There you go.
This is Tali right here. She's been through a lot. And I met Tali, I'll say about 4 or 5 years ago on social media, and we've become friends over the years. And I've helped her out with the production with the live streams that she's done about 1.5 years ago. And hopefully we've talked in the background of her rebooting one. So we will definitely be touching bases off stage after the fact. But Tali, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, so I've been on a really crazy journey. I'm a former pharmaceutical sales representative. So I've worked on the conventional side of medicine and called on doctors and believed in pharmaceuticals and believed in that whole system. And it took me becoming sick myself and being a patient in that system for a period of 15 years of just being sick and going doctor to doctor, going to over 20 different doctors, different specialists, from rheumatologists to endocrinologists to gastroenterologists to you name it. It was every ologist that was out there that I went to, and just accrued over time multiple pharmaceuticals. That was the only answer. And then when pharmaceuticals didn't work, they just started taking out body parts. So I lost my uterus at the age of 38. And that was because of some unknown hormonal imbalance. And later I found out what the root cause was to all my illness, why I lost a body part, why I had over 50 symptoms, why I was put on 8 pharmaceuticals, although that was their solution. But it was when I addressed the root cause that I was able to start the journey of healing. And through that journey, I also realized that I had to go back to school and become my own doctor. So I earned a doctorate. It's a holistic doctorate in functional medicine along the way to heal myself. And now I help others to address root causes behind their chronic fatigue and joint pain and unexplained weight gain and brain fog and everything that conventional doctors say, hey, you're just getting older, or it's just in your head. I help both men and women to address what the root cause is and then to address it naturally so that they can start to feel younger and live better.
Well, the root cause can be found on every continent on this planet. So Tali, what was the root cause?
So in my case, it was my breast implants were the root cause of my 15 years of illness. And it turned out that my saline breast implants were full of toxic black mold that had been leaking in my body and had been causing chronic inflammation, was affecting me down to the cellular level, causing mitochondrial dysfunction, which is really at the root cause of all illness, is at that cellular health level. But I had over 50 symptoms, and they came on kind of low and slow, started with some adult onset acne, and then suddenly hair loss and joint pain and chronic fatigue and gut issues. And toward the end, I was nearly paralyzed on one side of my body. And it was a whisper at night in my sleep. It was almost as if my cells or my soul or whatever it is that you want to call it.
Believe.
But
yeah.
It was a voice within me that said, it's your breast implants.
Yeah.
And that was what kind of set me into motion of doing Google searches and then finding a Facebook group online where I realized I wasn't the only one. And this was back in 2015, 2016. And I realized that there were thousands and thousands of women who were having issues with breast implants, whether they were saline, silicone, the gummy bear, the new ones, the old ones, the safe ones, the unsafe ones, whatever they wanted to call them. And I'm not saying that they had necessarily the same issues that I had as far as mold. They didn't necessarily have that, but they had silicone toxicity. They had whatever it was under an umbrella that I learned was called breast implant illness, or BII.
Right. Yeah, you see that all over the place online, but people don't really know what it is. How many people were in your group, Tali? Like on your Facebook group or whatever group it was?
Yeah, so this was a Facebook group. And again, this was like in 2015. So you have to think that this was 11 years ago. Yeah. So one of the groups that I found at the time, there were just a few groups.
Okay.
Like a handful. And in one, the largest group at that time had about 3,500 women. So today we're talking 300 something thousand in just that one group. So now there are multiple groups that you can find on Facebook. If you just type in breast implant illness, you'll find tons of different groups. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of women who are like, wait, I'm having chronic migraines, or I'm having joint pain, or I have these gut issues and hair loss and autoimmune cascade that's happening throughout my body. So now we realize it's not rare, it's real.
It's common. It's more common than it's actually probably the standard that's going to happen, right? No matter what.
And that's what I say. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, but it's a matter of when. And it kind of goes back to the fact that our toxic load is like a bucket. So we're all carrying around a bucket. And some of us might have a huge bucket. We can handle a ton of toxins in our life, wherever they come from, our food, the sky, pharmaceuticals, wherever toxins are coming from, the chemicals in all of our products, whatever the case might be. Some of us, though, have very small buckets.
Right.
And so once we hit our toxic load, that's it. And I'll just say breast implants, that's going to be a huge toxic burden on a body. So if you have a big bucket, maybe you're not going to experience symptoms for a long time. Maybe not at all, or you might dismiss them and be like, so what? So I have a little hair loss. So I'm tired sometimes. That's not related, when it might be. And then there's going to be some of us, it's about 1 in 5. I think those numbers are actually low, but it's said to be about 1 in 5 women that is going to experience some sort of toxic burden on the body that's going to present as symptoms.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, how soon after you received these implants do you think you noticed the terrible symptoms?
So I noticed subtle symptoms in about 6 months, and I did not at all think that it was related to breast implants. I noticed excessive oiliness. I know that sounds crazy. Like all of a sudden, like I never had acne and I never had oily hair, but all of a sudden, just everything was oily. Now, in hindsight, looking back, it's like my body was trying to push these implants out. So we sweat toxins out. We also produce oil, excessive oil, to try to push toxins out. So this was just a reaction of my body trying to push toxins out. But I would say one of my first big symptoms was I had this adult onset acne, and it was bad.
Weird.
And then, of course, the way that conventional medicine addresses it is I was sent to a primary care, sensory dermatologist, right? And then they put me on Retin-A and a long-term antibiotic like minocycline. I think it was minocycline.
Okay. I've never even heard of minocycline in my life.
It's a tetracycline, and it is but think about that. Putting somebody on an antibiotic indefinitely.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That is terrible. And
then what are the ramifications of that?
Yeah.
Well, that causes a lot of different health ailments or terrible symptoms because it messes with your gut biome. And that is like your number one health right there. I mean, it controls allergy and
everything.
So much more. I mean, this is where you absorb your nutrition as well as a lot of other things. Interesting. We just got kicked off a Rumble. Wow.
Really? I guess they don't care about women on Rumble. Look, how do we get kicked off of Rumble?
I have no idea. We're having
trying
trouble
to teach
streaming.
people
That's all right.
There's symptoms that you need to pay attention to, right, Tali? I mean, you have to pay attention to this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that when women start to experience symptoms, they're going to go to their primary care doctor. And if their primary care doctor is not going to ask certain questions like, do you have any implantable devices in your body? That should be a question that's on a medical form. Yeah. So if they're not experiencing any symptoms whatsoever, or if they're not asking those questions about these symptoms, then you're absolutely going to miss the root cause. Now, the symptoms that I had at the beginning were subtle. And so it started very subtle. And so this progressed from, I have acne to now I can't get out of bed to now my entire quality of life is gone. I have depression, I have anxiety. I lost all my hair. I had to wear a wig for for quite some time there.
Oh my
God. And so, I was relatively young. I was in my late 30s, early 40s and dealing with these problems. And it was affecting every aspect of my life, from relationships to jobs to, who I was as a parent to how I could function, my entire quality of life. And so, when we look at this and we think, somebody could have stopped this at the very beginning and just ask the question, do you have any implantable devices? Has anyone ever spoken to you about breast implant illness? But if our medical system is not acknowledging this as an actual illness and is not going to identify this as a root cause, then what happened to me and what's happened to hundreds of thousands of women, where we just wander from doctor to doctor as a medical nomad, is going to happen. And then it's going to progress. And have women died from breast implants? Heck yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I want to play a short little video here that I found actually not too long ago about a plastic surgeon and his unknowingness.
Saline implants that someone shared with me that apparently have mold inside.
Mold inside of a breast implant? Oh, it looks horrible. Yeah, I guess it can happen. I've never seen anything like that. I've never even heard of that being reported. I'm speechless. I really don't know how something like that can happen. And I guess they're saying the implants are, how old are the implants? Like 15 years old or something? That's not even that old. Yeah, that's troublesome. I've never seen that. I've never heard of that for the patient. With the latest technology and implants, that kind of stuff cannot happen. That's crazy.
Yeah, so the unknowingness from doctor.
I feel your pain now, Tali. After seeing this, I feel your pain.
Yeah, absolutely ignorant, keeping his head in the sand, laughing.
Yep.
And then, by the way, he's saying 15-year implant, not so old. It's recommended that breast implants are changed out so that they are not life devices, so they're supposed to be
I was reading that too right now.
replaced every 10 years. And here's this clown saying 15 years and they're not really that old. And by the way, my implants were 6 years old. When as far that those implants that were they had been changed out, so those were 6 years old. So the fact is they can develop mold. There are issues, and it's not laughable. So the fact that the guy that's putting them in, by the way, he's a glorified salesman.
Right.
So we have to remember he's selling he's a salesman of this product.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's his livelihood as well.
Wow.
And aren't they supposed to have follow-up when they have these new breast implants? Because like you just said, there's like 1,000 different kinds you could have. They're supposed to have follow-up data, I believe, on all these different implants. And I didn't see anything on the FDA website whatsoever.
Because they're what they do with medical devices is they grandfather in devices under the original FDA approval.
Oh, so they just take it. They got the FDA approval for one kind way back when. They can put all these other kind, lump them all together.
And that's for a lot of medical devices. So there's a great documentary that was out about a decade ago. It's called The Bleeding Edge. And it's on a variety of different medical devices that are out there. And it tells the story of multiple people who have had issues with medical devices because it's kind of like big pharma. It's actually
it is big pharma.
even worse. But when we're talking about big devices and FDA approval, that a lot of these these devices are just not scrutinized and brought to market and are causing great harm. And many people die or are hurt by these devices over and over and over again. And a lot of times they're not even taken off the market.
Right. And they say that they always had said that the saline ones are safe and, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's what they always posted. They said it was the silicone ones that were bad. They went on and on about those. And people did show those. And I thought it was like some kind of like lupus and, you know, different.
Autoimmune. Yep.
Correct.
Most women with breast implants develop Hashimoto. So thyroid is very vulnerable and ends up being one of the first things that kind of go. So almost every woman I've spoken to who has breast implants has developed Hashimoto's. And, you know, it's just seen as something, that's just common. But my implants were saline, and I chose what I thought were the safe kind because I'd done my research and went and explored silicone. At the time when I first got breast implants, they had just taken silicone off the market. And so they were bringing it back around that time. But because of all of that, and because I felt like I did my research, and I even asked, well, what are saline implants made of? And I was told it's salt water. But the thing is that what they don't tell you when you sit down, they don't give you a list of all the ingredients that are in breast implants. And there are about 40 toxic chemicals and ingredients, things like formaldehyde, polysorbate 80, heavy metals. There's lots of different things. And so they don't go over that and then explain, well, because this ingredient is in these breast implants, it can cause this, or this is a carcinogen. And they don't explain that to you. You don't get a list of the ingredient, just like, you know, you buy some Little Debbie's at the store and you have a list of ingredients on the back, and you can make a decision if you're going to eat those Little Debbie's or not. But when you're putting these implantable devices in your body, you would think that you would at least get a list of ingredients of what are these made of that I'm going to be putting in my body at 98.6 degrees.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
so to think of that, because it's
so
under
incubator.
heat.
Right. You're incubating it all day long.
For decades. And according to that surgeon, hey, 15 years?
That's nothing.
That's just a baby. That's a little infant breast implant.
That guy needs to be fired right there. I'm sorry. He does.
Yeah, so this sounds exactly like the vaccine situation where they're not informing patients proper. You know, like for instance, the ingredients in vaccines. People are not being informed on what the ingredients are.
Correct.
You were misinformed or not completely informed about everything that the breast implants were made of.
And it was what happened to me with these breast implants. That's what woke me up to everything else. So had this not happened, I'd probably still be a pharmaceutical sales rep somewhere and going to conventional doctors as a patient. And so in 2016, when like my great aha moment happened and these breast implants came out of my body because I demanded, take these out of my body. And when they came out and it's like, wow, this is what they look like. I automatically, it was kind of like this door open for me where I'm like, what else don't I know? Okay, this happened. What else don't I know? Because it was like a rug was pulled out from under me. And everything that I thought was safe and right in this world was completely torn out from under me. And then it started kind of this unlearning. I had to unlearn everything and then start the relearning process, which is why I named my practice LearnU, because it's all about the unlearning and the relearning in order to take care of you. And everyone is individual down to ourselves, but we need to find out what is it that is the block, the main block for us that's blocking us from being our best version of ourselves. Well, and so in my case, one big block was the breast implants, but another big block was that I was brainwashed.
Well, let's talk about some of the brainwashing when it comes to diet. You've been on a few different diets, and let's hear your journey about your different diets. It's quite interesting.
And the journey and the diets was all about a 9-year crusade after I had my breast implants removed, knowing that I had mold toxicity. It was, what do I do now? How do I heal this? Because I went back to those conventional doctors. So there were about 20 of them. And I brought that picture that you showed of the breast implants with the mold in it. I went back, I paid the copay, and I showed each of these specialists this picture. And I said, it turns out I'm not crazy. It wasn't all in my head. It's not because I'm a woman. I wasn't just getting older. And the depression, the medications, I wasn't depressed. I didn't have anxiety and I didn't have psychosis. So this was the root cause of my illness. And all of them looked at the picture and looked at me and said, well, that wouldn't cause illness. That wouldn't cause the years of illness. And there was one that just said, don't worry your pretty little head about these things. And another one said, oh, that's so cute how you're trying to be curious and be a doctor. And that's when I realized that I needed to leave that system, 2016, leave the system. And I'm like, well, shit, I need to go back to school. And I need to become my own doctor. And that's what I did. And so, I eventually earned a doctorate in functional medicine. And during that time, though, in that time of unlearning and relearning, I tried everything. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall. And I was trying to learn how to take care of me. How do I do it? What do I do now? And so I was vegan for about a year and a half. And for the first 6 to 8 months, I felt fantastic. And I thought, this works. And then I tanked. I had zinc deficiency, B12 deficiency. I had protein deficiency. My hair started to fall out. I started to gain weight and get very fluffy. And I had, symptoms of menopause that, were happening in my 40s. So perimenopause, menopause. I was just tanking. And so that didn't work long-term for me. And so several years ago, just in my doctoral program, I ran into it and started to kind of deep dive. And it was a book I read. It was called Fiber Menace. And I'm like, Fiber Menace? I have the book behind me. But I'm like, really? I thought fiber was good for you.
I did too.
I thought, and during this time, I still had residual symptoms. I had irritable bowel syndrome, which many people are diagnosed with. And I couldn't, and I thought, oh, eat more fiber because that's going to be good for your gut and your digestion. And then I read this book, and this book was pretty much saying that fiber is at the root cause of many illnesses that people have. And so I decided to start to remove fiber from my diet. At the same time, I ran into Joe Rogan and Dr. Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan. And he was talking about the carnivore diet. I'm like, well, that's about as zero fiber as you can get. So I decided to take the 30-day challenge, which I did. And within 30 days, my IBS, that, those symptoms of what we know of as IBS, no such thing, but what we know of as irritable bowel syndrome, were gone. It was completely gone, wiped out, gone. And then I started to develop muscle like I never have in my entire life. And here I was in my 50s, and just my body was within 30 days starting to look more like I did prior to having breast implants. Like before I was even exposed to any toxins. I was getting younger, getting stronger, and feeling incredible. And so after the 30-day challenge, I said to myself, well, why would I stop after 30 days? That would be fun. So here I am today. It's been 2.5 years. I've been pretty much following the carnivore lifestyle. In spring and summer, I bring back a little bit of just a very small amount of greens, and I eat fermented vegetables like live sauerkraut, and just a few vegetables that I know that I can tolerate here and there. But overall, mostly, I would say I'm 90% or more carnivore.
So what is the carnivore diet? I have never heard of this either. You're teaching us so much. I thought fiber was good for you. I thought all these things. Now I'm finding out nothing's true.
So a carnivore lifestyle, I don't even want to call it a diet. Okay. But a carnivore lifestyle is about really a focus on animal-based proteins. So what do I eat? I eat mostly ruminant animals. So these are animals, it's kind of biblical because these are animals that have a split hoof and chew their cud. So straight out of the Bible there. So we're talking about like a cow, a goat, a lamb, a deer, animals like that. So I eat that's most of my diet is really beef. The reason beef is because, these ruminant animals have 4 chambers to their stomach. Yes. And so they have their own filtration system. So they're eating the grass, right? Uh-huh. And then it runs through their own filtration system. 4 chambers. We have 1. So 4 chambers. And then when I'm eating that nutrient dense animal, and by the way, I only shop local. So I buy my my meat at I'm in Colorado Springs. So Ranch Foods Direct, great place to get your meat. And I'm getting my meat there, and I'm eating mostly meat. I'm eating pasture raised eggs, not from the grocery store, but local. I'm eating butter, grass-fed butter. And
I love that.
Every now and then I'll eat some chicken, but very rarely. Every now and then I'll eat some wild-caught salmon, but I would say most of the time I'm eating beef.
Okay.
And eggs. I eat a little bit of raw dairy.
Okay.
So thanks to Tali, I'm mostly on the carnivore diet, except for about
I am too.
near 2 weeks ago, the local market that actually had the locally grown raised beef went out of business.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Right. So whomever took over, they're not fully licensed up to run or to sell outside of their ranch. So I'm definitely looking to go in halfers on somebody who wants to get a half a cow with me, so I can have quarter cow and the other person can have quarter cow from a local ranch. And to my understanding, it should be, and this is when some of my research down here in Southwest Missouri is not just grass fed, but grass finished. Now, what it does by feeding them grain gives them that marble of the fat that's in beef. If it's not grass finished.
Okay. It can cause an inflammatory response in the animal, but there's a lot of schools of thought on that. If you have an autoimmune cascade, if you are sick, I think it's a really good idea to stay grass-fed, grass-finished. Once you get out of that, once you climb out of that, if you can get grass-fed, and if it's just, at the end, kind of grain finished at the very end, because look, here in Colorado, it's not a lot of grass year round.
Yeah.
But even just, I mean, also it's very expensive to get grass-fed, grass-finished beef.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
I wouldn't trust grocery store meat at this point. I wouldn't trust it. And you just don't know the sourcing and you don't know what's in it. There's a lot of lab printed, like the 3D printed meat, lab created meat that is now like a thing. And I just don't trust that big box type of like grocery store meat. I won't eat meat that's at even Costco. I mean, that's just me. Yeah. I want to support my local places because I don't want them to happen to, you know, like what happened to you, Tim, with a local place. I want to try to support local as much as I possibly can. And I spent like the money that I make. Where does my money go? I'm not going on lavish vacations and I don't drive a fancy car. And I like my clothes are coming from the thrift store, but I am buying good quality meat and good quality food that I'm, you know.
I honestly find it a lot less expensive going on the carnivore diet versus buying all the chips and dips and salsas and whatnots. And that stuff adds up really quick, especially with today's economy.
Is it the protein in the carnivore diet? Is it the protein that you get from what you're eating? That's what's helpful?
It's a lot of different things. One is you're getting rid of all the junk. So, you know, because you're just eating very simply and you're eating so nutrient dense, everything that you need is in meat. So you're eating such high nutrient density. The things that are in the grocery store that come in a box and a bag, they're food-like substances, but they're not really food. And you know, we're putting in all the, you know, this is adding to that toxic load or that bucket.
Right.
But we're not really adding to our nutritional density. Right. And so that's affecting us. And then the, you know, there's glyphosate that's in our vegetables. So everything is sprayed heavily. And so again, back to the toxic load, if you have a small bucket, then you're going to be impacted by these things pretty rapidly. And you're going to suddenly have unexplained weight gain and chronic fatigue and joint pain. And you're going to be like, what's wrong with me? And then, you know, and you know, I'm just speaking to men and women, you don't, to people who don't have breast implants, you know, and they have the same symptoms as if they have breast implants, because we're talking about toxicity, because toxicity is toxicity. So once you're toxic, now you're going to go to your doctor and be like, what's wrong with me? And they're going to run basic labs and they're going to say, you're perfectly normal, you're healthy. Right. Yeah, and then they're going to say, but, I think you're just depressed. So here's an antidepressant.
Yeah. They want to medicate everybody. Look. Unbelievable. I know my dad, they said to add protein to his diet. And so his girlfriend had bought like that protein powder stuff that you add into your drink or whatever it is. But then I said, well, nobody regulates that powder. Nobody regulates what's in it. And they said there was heavy metals found in it and all these horrible things. And I said, okay, we're throwing that away. It's not the same as getting the protein you need from eating good quality beef or, you know.
Right. Eat real food. And then another big thing is that when you're eating just animal, you're getting animal fat.
Yes.
Right.
So what's the building block of our hormones and of our brain and of our cells? This is going to shock you. You ready for this one?
I already know the answer. Go for it.
I don't.
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol. Yes. Cholesterol is derived from fat that's been processed with vitamin D.
So cholesterol is only from animal fat. So, you know, and our bodies also intrinsically make cholesterol.
Actually, I want to correct myself. Cholesterol is broken down and actually converted into what comprises the brain.
Yeah, so we need cholesterol in order to create vitamin D via our skin and sunlight. And so, cholesterol is probably, it's the fundamental most important building block for our cells and for our overall health. So what do? We have a statin drug, right?
Right.
To lower cholesterol.
Right.
Right.
Also behind, once we lower cholesterol, that's behind the low testosterone epidemic. And also dementia.
Damn.
So one of my friends, Buck, he's actually on a cholesterol medication. I forget which one, but it's I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Take your vitamin D and wean yourself off that stuff and get some sunlight and
exactly. And what did I sell?
Statin drugs.
Yeah, I did.
I did. I knew it. So which is the good? You have the good cholesterol and the bad cholesterol, the LDL, the HDL. There's no difference.
Doesn't matter.
So if your cholesterol is high in general, then what do people do?
So there was a study that was published about a year ago, and it looked at high LDL. It was thousands upon thousands of people in this study, and looked at people who had high LDL levels. They lived the longest. So high LDL, high cholesterol, which is known as the bad cholesterol. So high LDL levels is now linked to longevity. And so when we're looking just at numbers, like numbers are really not the thing, but when we're looking at numbers, what you want to look at is your HDL and triglycerides. So triglycerides are a direct it's like a blueprint showing how is your diet doing.
Okay.
So triglycerides and then HDL. So we want to look at the ratio between triglycerides to HDL.
Okay.
And we want a ratio that's as close to 1-to-1 as possible.
Okay. So you want them to
be balanced. If it's 2-to-1 or less, you're good.
Okay. So you're looking to be balanced.
Let's say your triglycerides are, 100, right? And then your HDL is 50, right? So that's 2-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
So you want your triglycerides though to be as low. So you want it under 100.
Okay.
And then you want your HDL and triglycerides, you want that ratio to be 1-to-1 or even inverted, where your HDL is higher than your triglycerides.
Okay.
So when a conventional doctor though says to you that your LDL is high and isn't looking at ratios like that, or isn't doing further testing like a CAC score, it's actually looking at your arteries to see if there's any blockage, but they're just immediately just looking at your LDL and then handing you a statin to lower your cholesterol, you're actually causing more harm to your body than good.
Right. I'm told statins are not very good for you.
So in a case for my situation, I was getting sunlight on a regular basis, and this is a little over 15 years ago. And I just, suddenly lost my eyesight. So, my skin, was it not absorbing the vitamin D or the processes of that? It's always
it's hard to say. And here's the thing, like I walk around now and I just know things, or I'm learning things that are outside of conventional thought. And one thing I see is people walking around wearing sunglasses. The worst thing that you can do for yourself.
Right. Yes, I did that.
Why?
Because we want to get the sunlight into our eyes. And so that also helps with the absorption of vitamin D. And that is also going to help with hormone production. It's going to help with your melatonin level. It's going to help with your circadian rhythm. It's going to help you to sleep better at night. It's going to, these women who are going and they're like, oh, well, my hormones are a mess. I eat healthy. They don't eat enough protein. They're not eating enough animal fat. They're riddled with seed oils. They might have breast implants. They're getting Botox or whatever. They're wearing their sunglasses.
They're drinking apple cider vinegar drink things. I see people do.
Not to knock natural things that are out there, but there are things that you can do first before you run and get hormone replacement therapy.
Right.
Or get on a pharmaceutical or even get on a peptide. You can just get outside. You can put your bare feet into the ground, number one. And connect with the earth. You can get sunlight. And help rebalance your hormones. And you can stop eating seed oils, which junk up your mitochondria. And you can eat animal fats and increase your cholesterol so that your hormones, become more balanced and your cortisol becomes more balanced, reduce stress.
I love
So there's
that.
I can go on and on. I'm just very passionate about all of this, and everyone's looking for a quick fix.
Right.
And they're not doing the work that's necessary. We've all forgotten how to be human.
I was on that.
Live a human life.
I was on that oh so convenient junk food diet. You know, fast food, candy bars, soda pops. That was pretty much it. And what a
M&Ms.
terrible route to go. Oh, more than that, M&Ms. I'm talking about Snickers, Butterfingers, yeah, Reese's,
whatever.
yeah. All the
Sugar.
terrible things, because it was all loaded with these artificial sugars. But it's not even just artificial sugars; it's also the regular sugars as well. I mean, if you look at how the processes of our granulated sugar is processed, very similar to cocaine. Watch out, folks. I mean, they're starting to call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes.
Yes.
It's very interesting. And I heard this 5, 6, 7 years ago, before the pandemic, actually.
Me too.
Or pandemic, as I'll call it, because that's how I met Tali, was through this pandemic. There's a lot of good people that came together. Tali was fighting against the medical industry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't
definitely
want to
a patriot in her own way. I definitely totally appreciate Tali for everything she's done.
I appreciate you too.
I need a pad of paper and a pen right now to be writing all this down.
Well, you know, it's funny. You know, speaking about sugar, I was at a barbecue over Memorial Day weekend, and was talking to someone who was asking what it is that I do and so forth, and we got on the subject of sugar, and he said, "Oh, well, I don't eat sugar anymore." And I looked at his plate, and I'm like, "You don't?" And he's like, "No, I don't eat. I stopped eating sugar." And so I noticed, like, he had, 2 buns for his hot dogs.
Loaded.
Oh yeah, this is funny.
He had, potato salad. He had, just all the starchy, potato chips on the plate.
No clue.
And people don't realize that's sugar. That's going to break down in your body. That's sugar. Sugar isn't just like a piece of candy or a piece of chocolate or a ding dong. It's still going to break down. Those things, like carbohydrates, still going to break down in your body into sugar. And that's still going to lead to problems and, affect your metabolic health.
And chips, I mean, loaded with seed oils as well as starches. That's like triple whammy right there.
Salt's not really that great for
double,
you either,
but triple.
Right? Salt actually is really good for you.
Yes.
And is imperative for you, but it depends on the salt. So commercial salt that's in products, bad. When we're talking about something like Baja Gold salt or Redmond salt, like we're talking about like mineral salt.
Yes.
Okay.
That is very, very important for your overall health. And when you think about it, like when you have a heart attack or when you're sick, like and you're rushed to the emergency room, what's the first thing they put in your veins?
Salt. Saline is made out of sodium, potassium.
Correct.
Nitroglycerin, isn't it? Nitroglycerin?
No.
No.
Well, when they're putting in a saline drip, so they're putting in salt water into your body.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
there you go.
Yeah, not all saline's good. Saline implants bad, but drinking salt water first thing in the morning. I'm not talking table salt.
No.
But I'm talking about mineral-rich salt is a great way to remineralize the body.
Yeah. So if you find a good
website, Tali? Is this all on your website that we're talking about?
I don't sell salt, but you can find like Baja Gold salt.
Yes.
That's the one. That's my favorite right there, Baja Gold.
I'm getting
it. You can buy it on Amazon in like a big old bag.
Okay.
And get yourself a salt box, like old school Little House on the Prairie style salt box with like the swivel wooden top, like a bamboo with a little wooden spoon. We need to go back to the way things were. Absolutely. We need to stop with the convenience, with the microwave ovens, with things arriving at our door. Everything needs to get slower and more intentional. And that's how to live a human experience and get healthy.
About 3 years ago, that was the first thing I gave away when I learned that I was moving was the microwave. I was like, out the door, you're gone.
Best way to take all nutrients out of your food
is by
and radiate your
microwaving
food and they've been banned in Russia.
Oh
Good.
my gosh, I'm learning so much today.
Actually, also GMO plants are banned in Russia. So, I mean, people are like thinking Vladimir's the evil guy, but some things he's doing is really good.
Okay, what
in a lot of places they have like alcohol, like wine. Okay, I will not drink American wine ever. I'm not doing it. Anytime I drink like a California wine, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's so good." It is. They don't have regulations here in America on wine, and so it has tons of glyphosate and other chemicals, and it's dirty wine. But
all the sulfides and phenols.
If you buy wine from another country, they have stricter regulations over there, and so you'll even notice it the next day that you'll feel different after drinking a wine from a country other than America compared to an American wine.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, Tali.
Well, I know of all the fertilizers and pesticides that are used in California. Because my dad used to host stuff all around. So
terrible.
Well, look, this has been like I'm telling you, I went into deep dive mode and studied 8 hours a day for like 9 years.
Wow.
So like to learn all this information that, I'm rattling off, this isn't something that I learned overnight or isn't even something I learned in a doctoral program. This is from experience and from many
trial and error.
Right, exactly. And studying and learning and deep diving and so forth. And so for my clients, I wouldn't want them to take 9 years to get to the point where I've gotten. Or to go through sickness the way that I've got, for many years, and to be gaslit and dismissed to, we're talking 25, 26 years. I wouldn't want that for anybody. I'd want to shorten that time where it's like,
and help. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know the
gaslighting.
I've been under the system since 1979 with all the doctors. I've seen hundreds of doctors and interns. I've taken so many medications. Yeah. No, thank you. I'm done. 2 years ago was my last medication that I took, April 25th of 2024. Awesome. And that was for my thyroid. I've been actually supplementing through various means, including nascent iodine. Actually, I have an iodine stain on my arm that's still a little bit apparent.
Me too.
So
I don't have that, and I want to be in the club here, people.
So iodine's another one of those things that's really important for supplementing for everybody. And one way that you can take, you can put a couple drops of iodine into water and just take it that way. Some people are a little sensitive, and one way to even test, you can take it transdermally, but another way to test if you're iodine deficient is you can get Lugel's iodine, which is like the yellow stained iodine that you see.
Yes. Yeah.
You can buy some Lugel's iodine. It's like $15 for like a 2-year supply, just so you know.
Isn't it also known as...
put it next to my salt?
Right, exactly.
I'm putting it next to my
like
salt.
A little like quarter-sized area on the inside of your arm, and then watch it. If it gets evaporated into your body's absorbing it, if your body absorbs it very rapidly, like in a few hours, you are iodine deficient.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm learning so much.
My stain will stay there for a whole day,
which is good.
Exactly.
That means you're not iodine deficient.
Not anymore.
So I go with my dad to the doctor's, Tali, every time he has to go. And he hasn't drank in 47 years. He's been sober 47 years.
Excellent.
But they told him now, all of a sudden, out of clear blue sky, his girlfriend, who was a nutritionist, I guess, probably 100 years ago, but a nutritionist nonetheless, she was telling him he had to eat all these certain foods and all this stuff. And now all of a sudden his liver he's got like a fatty liver, and it's been going downhill. So I don't understand what he's doing wrong. And I'm like, maybe she's not so smart. She went to school like 100 years ago. Maybe there's some new stuff now we need to pick up, right?
I think she needs to learn back to her original schooling, not this new stuff here. And that's what Tali's doing. Is original schooling is what Tali's doing.
Right, but you're learning the latest stuff. You're not picking up stuff from 100 years ago. You're learning.
No.
I'm learning things from before the Rockefeller conventional medicine, which is only 150 years old.
Correct.
Okay. So when I say 100 years, kidding, I'm not kidding. Right. So you're going back all the way, and you're taking it from the beginning, and you're bringing it back to the natural stuff. Oh, I love this.
Yes, it's the back to basics. See, conventional doctors only get about 15 minutes, maybe a day of nutritional education in their medical program.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they don't know. What they do know is what drug to prescribe for the symptom that you're coming in. So if you come in and you have a migraine, they know to pick up their script and to write Imitrex or the newest one that's on formulary.
Right.
That, that they can get, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then when that doesn't work, they know what surgery or what body part to remove.
And so based on symptoms,
based
on symptoms, they went ahead and did some blood draws, found out my T levels were low, T3 and T4, and they prescribed me a levothyroxine based medication. And I started looking into this stuff. Okay. And so they gave me this levothyroxine based medication, and I looked up all the different ones, all of the levothyroxine, which is a synthetic hormone replacement.
Right.
And all of them contained talc. And I'm thinking, wasn't Johnson & Johnson sued for cosmetic cancer with talc?
They were recently.
So I had a conversation with my doctor. And
not only that, though, being that it's a synthetic T4, it's synthetic. So your body knows that it is not real.
Right.
So it doesn't want to accept it the same way, right?
I wasn't feeling any better.
Yeah. A lot of people have a problem also taking a T4, even if it were natural, if it were just T4. So T4 is not the active form of thyroid hormone. So what it requires is that your liver and your gut take in T4 and then convert T4 into the active form of thyroid hormone, which is free T3.
Yes.
And then your body, your thyroid will be able to uptake that and utilize it. But a lot of people have a liver, like you're just talking about your dad having fatty liver. So a lot of people have a liver that's just not working properly, or that their toxic load, again, back to toxins, have created, because that can create fatty liver too, is toxicity. And so if your liver is junked up, then it can't do the job of taking in T4 and turning that into free T3.
So the thyroid, to my understanding, is only responsible for 20% of this conversion from T4 to T3, which helps out with so much from your body heat, your energy regulation, so on and so forth.
Really?
The majority of the rest of it, as we were talking about earlier in the show, how important your gut health is. And
it's
your
true.
liver and gut. And also it's impacted down to the cellular level. Because the thing is that if at your cells, your mitochondria, which are like your batteries within your cells, if your batteries are low, because of toxins, because you're not getting enough nutrients, because you're nutrient deficient, because of a lot of things. So if your batteries aren't charged and aren't working properly, then your body can't do any work. It can't do any of its jobs. It's going to keep you in survival mode, but it's not going to be able to do all the things. And so something that kind of works together and kind of activate one another is T3, so free T3 and the mitochondria. And so, your mitochondria help create that flow, but also the free T3 helps with charging your mitochondria. So those are really important to feeling optimal. And so people who have low energy, they automatically go thyroid, but they're not thinking, I probably need to charge my cells, or there might be a problem deep down in the mitochondrial level that's affecting my that's like your engine. That's like taking your car in and being like, look, I guess I'll just change my 4 tires, but I won't worry about the problem in the engine.
It's okay if it's got a leak or two, right?
Like the engine's not working, but we're not going to worry about that. It looks like new tires are necessary here.
Very good analogy. So you were briefly in this documentary called The Bleeding Edge. So I want to play an extremely short clip because that's pretty much how much you were in it.
Yeah.
Hers taken out. They found mold inside, and she's not alone. 2 dead.
That was it.
So that was it. Now we were talking before we went live on this evening's broadcast on the also other things that are in that documentary, including men's health. Can you go over a little bit more of that? Because I hadn't seen this documentary yet. So
yeah, it's definitely worth watching. This documentary was out about 10 years ago. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still if you can still get to it, but it shows different medical devices and problems that arise. And one of them was like the cobalt hip implant. So it tells the story too of these people that were affected by these implants. So the cobalt ended up causing this guy to go absolutely crazy. And that was a big thing that kind of came out. And then they took the cobalt implants off the market. So those were the hip implants or joint type of implants.
My dad had that.
The cobalt implants or
no, he had a hip implant, you guys, and I found that there was a recall on it and he kept dislocating it, right? So I send it to the surgeon and go, hey, look, there's a recall on this. And he goes, oh no, that's just the screws. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, the screws, what's holding it together? And when the hip pops out, you're like flopping on the ground like a fish. It is horribly painful. And it's happened already twice. And the guy goes, well, if it happens again, we'll have to change it. And I'm like, well, can't we be proactive and just fix it now before it happens again? No, they won't do it. That's crazy. That is just insane.
A lot of the expenses, just so you know, like getting breast implants out, even if they're causing problems or there's an issue, that expense, the insurance is not covering this. They still are considering, a lot of this stuff as cosmetic. So, it might cost $5,000 to put breast implants in, but it'll cost about $15,000 to get them out and to get them removed properly, because they need to be removed in something called an en bloc procedure, which is where the entire scar capsule that develops around breast implants are removed at the time of explant. Just so you know, because everything needs to come out. It's all toxic. It's all going to cause inflammation in the body. All needs to be removed properly by a plastic surgeon who believes in breast implant illness and who will remove it via en bloc. But it's expensive and it's on the patient, not on insurance companies. So in the bleeding edge, there's also bladder mesh was one of the, one of the issues and talked about that. Also the Da Vinci, which is like a surgical robotic that was used, but it was used a lot in hysterectomies. And so you follow along with a story of a woman where her like entire intestines fall out after surgery because the doctors weren't trained properly on how to use these Da Vinci robotics. And so these medical reps kind of came in and said, do this, or whatever, but they weren't fully trained on how to use these devices in surgery, this robotic arm or this robotic and whatever devices. And then these people really suffered. I'm trying to think what other, there's just other type of devices.
Well, you're talking about some sort of penial or some sort of other weird devices that were like scrotum.
Well, it's not in the bleeding edge, but I'm saying that any device, no matter what, any device that's implanted in the body. So it's like breast implants, right? Yeah. Brazilian butt lift, like that's really big right now. That's going to have similar issues. If a guy were to get a penile implant, or let's say he got a prosthetic for, after prostate cancer. Yeah. Right. Then all of these can present with problems, with similar problems. Anytime you're putting a device into your body, there's the potential of problems. And, when we think about people who get a kidney transplant.
Yeah, or liver or whatever.
Or when you're getting an organ from another person and you're putting that into the body, it is thought that putting an implantable device like breast implants, let's say, into the body, they're big, right? They're taking up space, a lot of space. They're a foreign object in the body, and that can cause immune system dysregulation, or the immune system goes haywire.
Yeah.
That can cause, autoimmune type issues.
Right.
And so when people get an organ, then they need to go on a drug like cyclosporin, because it's an anti-rejection drug, so that their body isn't fighting this, because your body knows that's not me.
Right.
It doesn't belong here.
Right.
It doesn't belong in me.
Well, because it's not them. So your body knows, your body has a code, and it knows that's not me. Yeah. And so you have to take this drug to kind of stop that reaction. But when we put breast implants in the body, your body's still saying, that's not me.
Right.
And by the way, everyone else is also saying, that ain't her.
Right. Take a look at Tali's face right here. Tali's face, she kind of looks mean right there. I don't know if I would approach this one.
I wasn't happy. Look, yeah.
But this woman right here, I would totally approach.
Yeah, she looks happy and healthy.
All natural there.
Yeah. Yes. I love it. It's awesome.
So, anything more on men's health that you cover with LearnU?
No, we don't care about them.
No, I love working with men. Men are great, because what I'm teaching people, both men and women, is how to take charge of their own health. And men are doers. So you say to a man, well, this is what's wrong, and these are the things that you need to do to take charge of your health and address the problem. And men are just, I'm not going to say they're simple like that. It's not that. It's just like they're problem solution oriented. So once they know that there's a problem, and they're like, oh, this is what I have to do, I'm going to do it. And they do it. And it's just kind of
my dad's just like that too.
Yeah. So they're great. So that's why I love working with men, and I've had great results with men. But here's the thing. Our major building, like what's at our root, what's like what's the single, like the thing is the trillion cells that are in our body. And if they're sick, then nothing's going to work. So that has to be addressed first. Yes. Whether you're a man or a woman, you got to get your cellular health working. Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so toxins are going to affect that. Nutrients, not having the proper nutrient, not having the proper nutrient absorption, not sleeping right, not, there's just so many different things. Your gut health. So if you have candida overgrowth, yeast overgrowth, mold overgrowth, fungal overgrowth, anything like that, that's going to affect you deep down to the cellular level. So there's a lot of different things, even trapped, undealt with emotions. So your mindset, or your nervous system. So how well that you are coping with stress, or you pent up anger that was never resolved is going to affect you. Even in traditional Chinese medicine, which has been around for thousands of years, that anger is going to affect your liver.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And I hear this little voice. I hear this little voice of Yoda. Fear leads to anger and all that stuff.
Wait, but Tali, I want to ask, why aren't the manufacturers of the breast implants responsible for removing them? Why aren't they? They should have to be responsible. If it's you have a proven, it's got mold. You could tell it's
well.
Defective,
they're saying that it just like the conventional doctor said, it doesn't cause illness. So this is they're still saying these are FDA approved, safe and effective, do not cause illness. Women are not harmed by this. There is now a black box warning that is on the breast implants that come to the plastic surgeon. So the plastic surgeon sees it. Whether they go over that information with their patients, I don't know.
They're not going to take time. No doctors don't even spend 5 minutes with you when you're sick, and they're not going to spend time with you like that. Are you kidding me?
Well, in their sales pitch where they're selling these breast implants, they are supposed to go over informed consent. So they're supposed to go over the risks that are involved. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying that, maybe they don't do it well enough. And if a woman comes in and she already has an autoimmune disease, she probably shouldn't get breast implants. If she already knows that genetically she has something like MTHFR, which is a very common gene mutation, and that's going to affect somebody's ability to remove toxins effectively, along with taking in certain nutrients and processing and using them to create cellular energy, like B vitamins. So they might need to be on specific B vitamins and avoid enriched foods that are in the grocery store, like breads that have folic acid in them that are going to cause problems. But their bodies can get toxic very quickly, and they might not have that ability to remove toxins. So when you put that toxic load into your body, you're going to run into problems. So, my theory, when I think about like who are the women that are getting sick from breast implants, it could possibly be linked to MTHFR is one theory.
It seems too widespread. I mean, it's very widespread, the breast implant illness, because there's class action lawsuits everywhere you look. There's something popping up about them.
It can also be due to biofilms, because any implant that you put in your body, no matter what it is, any implant is going to develop a biofilm. And so what biofilms are, like colonies of bacteria, and they hide behind this like biofilm. They're very hard to get rid of. They're kind of like a slimy. If you have a dog or a cat and you miss a day of cleaning their water bowl.
Okay.
And then you notice that it's kind of like slimy. It's kind of like slippery. Yeah. That's a biofilm that's starting to grow. So that grows in your body. So biofilms grow around implants, and then that can cause a inflammatory response in the body, because your body is like, oh, we see a problem. We're going to try to fight it. And then your body is spending all day, all night, 24/7 fighting this biofilm.
That's why people are tired and have the systemic or autoimmune diseases or whatever it is. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because they're spending all their energy fighting a war, and they don't have time. They don't have other reserves to grow hair, to take care of skin. So you see these people rapidly aging.
And the acne, like you said, and the oily skin.
Because that's extra. Like to your body. Your body's like, I don't have time for that because I've got to fight this war.
Right. I've got bigger fish.
It's a civil war going on in your own body.
True.
I love that.
Story. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So wait, Tali, what is LearnU then? Tell us about LearnU, because I don't know about that yet.
So LearnU is my virtual practice. So I'm not a medical doctor. I have a holistic doctorate in functional medicine. And so it is a doctorate of philosophy. So it is on the education side. So not diagnosing or treating. However, I do functional testing. I do cellular testing so that we can see where the root cause issues are. This isn't a test that's done in conventional medicine. So you might go to a conventional doctor, get blood work done, and they're going to tell you everything's fine, you're normal, it's all in your head, here's an antidepressant. But
there's an antidepressant.
That's the answer for everything these days. But the cellular testing that I have, it's called an organic acid test, and it's looking at metabolites that actually fall into your urine. So no blood. You pee in a cup, you submit it. I work with a functional lab, and so the specimen goes via mail to the lab. We get the lab results and then we review them. There's 76 biomarkers. We're able to see everything from intestinal, gut biomes. We're able to see things like mold, fungus, bacterial, candida, overgrowth, and how that's affecting things like your neurotransmitters, your dopamine, serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, nutrient deficiencies that might be at the cellular level, and mitochondrial function. So how well your body is actually creating energy, oxidative stress, and how high that is in the body. So we're able to see a lot. And then from there, we're able to kind of create that path or that plan to get somebody from where they are right now with fatigue and joint pain and chronic, all sorts of issues, to being their best version of themselves. So I work with people virtually. So all over the United States, we do Zoom calls. So it's group calls. And it's like a whole learning platform that I help people walk through so that they don't have to spend 9 years
learning all that,
throwing spaghetti at the wall and trying to figure things out. But I help walk them through the path to get to optimal health in months as opposed to years.
I love
so
that.
Besides the website you have, the www.LearnU.live, which is going to be up and running on the 29th.
It's been up and running. It's just the new and improved version. Right now it's down and it's relaunching tomorrow.
But besides there, how else can people find you?
So they can find me on social media platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And it's under LearnU, like the letter U, LearnU Live Better. And ain't that the truth? LearnU Live Better.
I love that.
So when it comes to like state legislation and stuff, Gavin Newsom actually passed that all tortillas in the state of California have to have folic acid. Folic acid.
Right. I just said,
talking about that. With the MTHFR gene mutation, which a lot of people have, and they don't know they have it. Contact your state legislation and get that stuff out. Get our fields back to heirloom.
Yeah, absolutely. And the testing that I do, I'm able to see if somebody has a methylation issue.
Yes.
And usually if you have a methylation issue, it's going to be linked to that MTHFR. And so there are different things, different ways to live your life, like avoiding those tortillas. And then, different supplementation, different lifestyle diet things that you can do and live with it without it hindering you or blocking you or causing real problems.
So anything that says enriched or fortified has folic acid as well as California tortillas.
Or in a box or a bag. Cut it.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My cousins actually own a gym in Arizona, and they have different doctors that will come in and do different testing for people.
Oh,
but
wow.
They don't have anything like this. So I have to bring this to them because they're going to love it.
Yeah.
This is every gym needs this for sure.
It's a fascinating test, and it's looking at things that conventional medicine isn't looking at, like the markers, the metabolites that are falling into your urine that are being used as, the measurement of what's going on.
Right.
It's a foreign language. It's nothing that can it's just not in conventional medicine.
No.
Right.
No. You get a blood test.
Which is why I was so drawn to it.
Yeah, I can see that, especially from what you went through and you wanted to heal yourself. So you have to be your own advocate. I love it.
Yeah.
But now
I love teaching. I love explaining it to people in layman's terms so that they can understand it. And the response that I get from people who have taken this test, and when we've we've done the report of findings, the response is just like mind blown, because it's like that explains this and this and this and this.
Right? I love that.
When you see
we talked about methylation. Methylation is the process of turning food or supplements into something that's usable into the body. So that's a process called methylation that does that.
Okay.
At the cellular level, right?
Correct.
So it's utilizing like methylfolate.
Yes.
So would be an active form that the body can use, because it's kind of like if you're taking it as folic acid, which is kind of like a synthetic form, and they tell pregnant women, take folic acid, or it's enriched with folic acid. But we can't break that down into these basic components that the body at the cellular level can utilize and, for energy. And so it's going to cause a lot of different problems, and someone's just going to start to feel awful. And then eventually that can lead to some serious illnesses. So
right.
That can lead to autoimmune type illness. So usually people who have that MTHFR gene are more susceptible to autoimmune type issues, to cancer, to neurological diseases, to a lot of different things. And that's why it's important to identify if you have a methylation issue so that you can do something about it. And we can always do something about everything. We can take charge of our health.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely find the root cause, stop treating the symptom. That's what I'm going to say to every single doctor that's watching this. Because I've been through like 30 plus years of garbage that, treat the symptom, treat the symptom, treat the symptom. It's
hereditary. It's hereditary.
Oh, the hereditary flipping answers garbage too.
No, actually, like genetics play about a 1 to 3% role in our health, and yet we're just told it's everything. And the secret to optimal health is change your life, change your health.
Yes. Yeah. So it is a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Change your perspective of thought. Change how you wake up, your morning habits, your actually everyday habits.
Your mindset.
I mean, to me, coffee is not the best thing. I think coffee is actually a mold inhibitor.
Well, parasites, all that other junk.
I will go over that at another
mold,
time.
But there are coffees out there that are mold tested.
Oh, yes. I actually started using Bulletproof about 2 months ago and actually noticed a great difference.
Gosh, you guys.
So,
Anya, where's your notebook? Take notes.
I need it. I'm just going to have to go to your website, really. But I'm shocked I'm still alive, people.
Twitch.
Seriously, I'm like, why am I still standing? I'm just kidding. We all need Tali. Everybody needs Tali for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Tali. I'm really glad to meet that.
I wish there had been somebody like me that could have held my hand through the process when I was sick, because it would have saved a lot of pain and suffering and time and money.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. And then having to pay to get the things removed when I think the manufacturer should be completely responsible and have to do it, I think they should. But you're right, you can't even find anybody that'll take them out, right? Or properly.
Right. And there are some plastic surgeons that are across the United States. You have to do your research, and you need to find in those support groups, in those breast implant illness support groups that are on Facebook, there are women, there are people who are sharing what surgeons to go to per state. And there are people who walk you through the explant process, but there are plastic surgeons that are out there that know and are on women's sides now, and they will actually not put implants in anymore. They have stopped doing that racket, and all they do is focus on explant, and they will only do proper explant, which is that end block or total capsulectomy at the time of removing explant, so that for sure. They'll take pictures of the explant or video as well, so that that everything was taken out. They'll also send the capsule and the implants for testing, because you want to rule out things like BIA ALCL, which is a form of cancer that is linked to breast implants. And so we'll also test for mold and various bacterias and so forth.
That is crazy, though.
So a question that came up in the comments is, what about Redmond Real Salt Ancient Fine Sea Salt? Is that a good brand?
So it is, it was like the salt. And then there were some articles that came out about a year ago about lead being found, led to high levels of lead. And around that time, so I was using Redmond all the time, read those articles. Whether or not that is true or not, I just went ahead and switched to the Baja Gold, which has supposedly the highest mineral content. So that's.
And then there's all this talk in the medical community about microplastics.
Yeah.
And I've heard about microplastic.
Himalayan salt.
So yes. But also, in the storage of, different types of salts that are shipped over, mailed over to you. So I've been recently tuning into things that are stored in glass, and like you suggested, storing it in a wooden salt box, which I really like that idea.
Prairie style, they're awesome. They're so beautiful too. Just so you know, they're really pretty, and they're great conversation pieces. And you should also just get rid of all plastic that's in your house. I mean, just stop with the plastic. Ziploc bags right now are under a lawsuit.
Wow. Really? I did not know this.
Like plastic Teflon, like like plastic containers. Just switch things to glass. Stop with the black plastic. So black plastic utensils
Okay.
are probably the worst, most toxic substances,
Oh,
and you're putting them on heat.
Right.
So it's
the
going in
things
your
that we're
food.
using in our kitchen, with our food, with our products, all of these things are contributing to our toxic load.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and when you microwave plastic, forget it, folks. You just done poisoned yourself. True story.
And I lived like that for many years. I did all those things. I drank out of the same plastic water bottle. I would just keep refilling that same plastic water bottle and keep it in my car in Florida at like 100-something degrees.
Right. With the humidity.
And then fill that plastic water bottle. Use that same one for maybe 6 months. I don't know how long.
Yeah.
At the water fountain at the gym. And then, So,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
The stuff we have to listen. If this wouldn't have happened to Tali, we're blessed. We're blessed that you're teaching us now, because we can all learn from you. We can change our lives right now.
So Tali's been through it. She's dealt with it. She's taken an understanding to it. Definitely appreciate the time we've had tonight with Tali. Definitely follow Tali at LearnULiveBetter or LearnU.live, which that will be up and running again due to some minor repairs. It'll be up and running on the 29th.
My new and improved website's going up.
New and improved. I actually did some testing last night.
Yeah, that's right. And there'll even be an assessment on the site, which will kind of gauge whether or not you're ready for a program like LearnU, because not everybody can do it.
I'm ready. As I saw the results.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing to me. I love it.
Definitely an amazing,
Thank
and
you.
an amazing woman here, Tali. So
yeah,
thank you. I appreciate that.
And thank you for teaching everybody.
And everyone, we were having some problems today on Rumble, which is very unusual, because Rumble usually we can like cuss and scream and yell and all that BS and get away with almost anything. And Rumble is actually a little down today. But they've been up and down as far as their service. But definitely give a like, share, and follow at Tim Holliday TV. So that's TimHolliday TV. You can find us on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, Twitch TV, which is a video gamer platform. We were also going to be putting this show onto iHeart, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to join in on Tuesdays as well as Thursdays. I'll be covering some things with Matt Funicello on Tuesdays, and we're going to be doing our usual podcasts, such as today. And we try to mix it up on Thursdays, as Tanya knows. I have her bouncing all around. She's like,
but I love it. I love it.
Dance, Tanya, dance.
yeah, I love it.
But she has definitely learned a lot. Is that correct, Tanya?
Oh my God, you guys are like medical geniuses up here. And I thought I was good because I go to the doctors with my dad all the time for the last like almost 80 years, right? So I'm thinking, God, I'm on top of my game, but geez, not even close. I got a lot.
It's a whole other world on the natural health side.
Yes,
but I think that's important for people to know that it's just a completely different knowing on this side.
It is.
Yes,
it is. And it's important. It's very important.
Absolutely.
Extremely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, which next Thursday, I might be on the road. So pray for me that I make it work. No, I'm a very tech savvy person. I should be able to get the show up and running with another campfire talk. So
I love it.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, ciao for now.
Good night.